Okay, so for this activity, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a project about the cost of pet ownership. So the first part of that is to decide what kind of pet you might be interested in owning.
Yeah.
You can choose a traditional pet if you want, or if you want to, you can choose a more exotic pet. Just keep in mind that with exotic pets, some of them are not legal in California. So part of the process of choosing an exotic pet is making sure that it's something you could actually have. So the first step would be to kind of pick what kind of pet that you would want to own. Do you know what kind of pet you might be interested in having?
I'm probably gonna go with a dog because I get dogs often, and I want to know how much they actually cost per year.
Okay, and you have a dog, so
Yes.
that works out. So then the first thing you'll need to do is create a list of items that you're going to need for your pet, and then you'll research the cost of those items. So we can start out maybe by brainstorming a little bit. What kinds of things can you think of that you might need to have a
Um,
dog for a year?
Water bowl, dog food bowl,
Okay.
collar, leash, dog
Okay.
food. So many things.
Do you want to write them? Start writing them.
Okay. Yeah. So, dog food. Um, food bowl. Food, water bowl.
Okay.
Collar. Um, Leash. Probably a tag. Just in case. A dog house or a dog bed, depending on if it's inside or outside. What would there be?
And can you think of now some of the stuff you have on your list is a one-time expense.
Yes, such as dog house or dog bed, leash, collar,
Yeah.
water bowl, food bowl.
Can you think of any other one-time expenses?
Probably a shovel, pick up poop
Okay.
if your dog.
Poop like a pooper scooper.
Yeah, a pooper scooper. Some people use doggy bags, but I think it's probably cheaper to get a shovel, lasts longer. So, pooper, scooper.
What about services?
Services.
Yeah, like stuff your dog might
Oh.
need that isn't necessarily something you buy and bring home.
Um, hmm. Things my dog might need. Shots. Yeah, that's good. A dog also needs to be things you don't have to buy for it, but there's things like you have to also take care with it, play with it, give it exercise.
Um,
Also, a dog needs was it needs it needs toys, so it has something to chew on instead of your stuff.
okay.
If you get it on a puppy and you want to train it, best get treats or doggy pads.
Okay, so shall all that stuff go on your list?
Yep.
All right. Excuse me. Of course, I would start this during the video.
Yeah. You would also need water, but you have water at home, but technically water does cost. So, guess to put down water. What else would you need? You would need.
Do you wash your dog yourself?
Yes. So you would need soap and stuff in order to wash your dog.
Dog shampoo.
Yeah, dog shampoo. Or you should also um, you should get it possibly a vet in case it ever gets sick, and that's an expense.
Mm-hmm.
So possible vet. What else would you need in order to take care of a dog? You would need. You may, if you're planning on traveling with your dog, you might need a carrying cage. What else do I need? You may need. All I can think of at the moment.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good jumping off point.
Yes.
And one of the things you can do is, as you research some of the costs, you might see other things that you think, oh yeah, my dog needs that, and you can add those to the list.
Yeah.
Now, when thinking about the costs over a year, are you going to look up just the one price for every item?
No, not for every item, such as dog food. You're probably going to need another bag every month, one every month, and depending on the type of dog food that you get, the price may be higher or lower. As well as for the water or the puppy pads, possibly shots, toys. You might want to get more than one of those. Soap, you might want to get more than one. Possibly trips to the vet. That may happen more than one time. Hopefully not.
Okay. So maybe when you start looking at building your costs over a year, you have to separate your expenses into the one-time expenses and the more often expenses.
Yes.
And maybe with some stuff you might even have to estimate because you don't know how much the vet's going to cost.
Mm-hmm.
But what's one thing you could do to estimate how much you might want to save for a possible vet visit?
Like checking probably common things that help with dogs at vets and the cost of those things. Especially there's different common things for the type of breeds, so check what your breed is and look up possible things that could happen to the dog just in case. Look up how much money it would cost. Plan ahead.
Okay, good. Maybe when you're doing your research too, you could look up the average amount that people spend per year
Yeah.
on vet bills, and that might give you kind of an idea of how much
Yeah.
to save, to estimate.
Okay.
But yeah, it sounds like you're on the right track. So then the next step is to start doing your research, start looking and start looking up the costs of your items and start getting a sense of how much things are going to cost over the course of a year. And make sure as you're doing that to keep a list of all the websites you used. One trick to doing that, if I can show you, is if you number your sources. So source number 1, PetSmart, and then write out the website and all this stuff. So then on my research page for dog food, I'll have the cost for, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. This isn't your actual research. I would put the number for my reference next to it, and then if I went somewhere else and got a different price for the same stuff, then I would put the number of that reference next to that, whatever that happened to be, Petco. And that way, you know where your references go, and it makes it easy later on when you go back to site, because you already know what your references are and where you got all of your different information.
Okay.
That make sense?
Yes.
And it'll save you a lot of time trying to go back over everything and figure out where different stuff came from.
Yeah. It's just one of the other things you might also need a brush if it's a hairy dog.
A brush is probably good.